And let's head off to the Health Hub Times Square in Ballincollig, where we're joined by Anneliese Dressel. Good afternoon to you, Anneliese.
Good afternoon, Patricia.
Nicely refreshed after your break?
Oh, like a new woman, definitely. I think the week of sunshine in January is just the job, Patricia. It lifts your spirits, it gets your vitamin D into your blood, and you just feel great after it.
Yeah, and you were away for a crazy week weather-wise, so you picked the right week to go away, for sure.
Exactly.
Okay, straight. Now, there's a lot of questions, so we'll do our best to get through as many of them as we can. This one came in bright and early. Hi, question for Anneliese, please. My 21-year-old grandson, third-level college student, very fit. He works out between 4 and 5 times a week, but he has an issue with sleeping. It started in Leaving Cert year and it really hasn't improved. Would you recommend something to help him sleep?
Definitely would. And there's a couple of things as well, Patricia. The first thing I would say is that working out late at night raises all of your stress hormones, because when your body is in the gym pumping weights and doing cardio, it thinks it's in fight or flight. So it takes quite a while for those stress hormones to come down. So actually the best time, if you're a poor sleeper, to exercise is in the morning or during the day, but certainly not at night. The second tip would be to cut caffeine out after 2 p.m. It sounds really obvious, but actually people don't do it. They still might have slip in a cup of tea at 6 or 7 o'clock or a quick coffee. And actually it really, really can make a huge difference for a lot of people, especially if you're caffeine sensitive and you don't really know if you are or not. So those two things could help. And then in terms of taking supplements, there's a few. The first one is, and it's gotten really popular at the moment, is the magnesium bisglycinate. So this is a combination of magnesium, which is very good for relaxing the body and the muscles. And then the glycinate, the glycine, is one of the precursors to one of the neurotransmitters in our brain that help us feel very calm and relaxed. So that combination one is very good. We sell a lot here, and the GAL one is a very good one, but you'll get magnesium by bisglycinate, Viridian Do one, Prismag is another one. So that's very good. But the best one that we get the feedback here in the shop on is the NHP Advanced Sleep Support. And this is a combination of this magnesium bisglycinate, but there is another 8 or 9 different herbs in there, like skullcap, valerian, chamomile, hops, Montmorency, cherry extract, all of a combination of everything really that can help bring down the hormones and the neurotransmitters that keep you kind of tired and wired. So they bring them all down to a nice level. So I would definitely try that. It's the NHP Advanced Sleep Support, and you'll get it in the health shop.
Yeah, actually, we've had to put Marsha, our daughter, on melatonin. When the clock change, she always gets affected by the clock change, being deaf-blind. Clock change really messes up with her sleep pattern. And melatonin works, but of course, I had to get a prescription because it's off licence. There was a time when you could just pop in and buy melatonin. It just
Absolutely.
seems crazy. And it's only for short periods of time to get a sleep pattern back.
And it's fantastic for jet lag as well.
Yeah,
and melatonin, actually serotonin is the happy hormone that's converted into melatonin. So that doesn't happen properly for everybody.
Yeah.
I would suggest that anybody who goes over to France or Spain or the Canaries this time of year or anywhere at all, pick up melatonin when you're over there, because you can buy it in all of the shops and all of the pharmacies there. So just pick it up when you're away and have it there, because it'll last for a long time.
That's
and
great.
Just keep it for when you need it.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, hi, question for Anneliese, please. What magnesium product is good for bones and joints? It's a band to your listeners diagnosed with arthritis.
Okay, so magnesium does make up bones along with calcium, but it wouldn't be the first thing I would choose for arthritis. Arthritis really is more wear and tear of the cartilage between the bones that help cushion the bones and provide a kind of a spongy pillow between them to absorb shock. So arthritis is more wear and tear away of that cartilage. So to build back up cartilage, there's a few different things that can help. The oldest style one is the glucosamine. Now this is a long-term product that's been used since the 60s for joint support, and it can work very, very well. But there's a couple of things with it. The first thing is it can take about 6 months to notice the difference, because it's a really large molecule. So it takes quite a bit of time to actually pass across the membrane into the cartilage where it's needed. And the other thing as well is it doesn't agree with everyone's stomach. So I would much rather give people something called type 2 or UC2 cartilage. So this is already, it comes from chicken, and it's already, the work already has been done by the chicken to build up glucosamine and other things into cartilage for you. So that's a very good one. We also get very good feedback on a supplement by a company called One Nutrition, a lovely Irish company, and it's just called Joint Support. And for some people, it just works really, really quickly and really, really well. So you could try that. And the last thing then is just plain old collagen. So collagen is very good for both your bones, because our bones aren't just built of brittle calcium. They also need to be quite elastic to absorb shock. So collagen is very good for both the joints and the bones. So you could take a collagen supplement, and it comes in powders, it comes in sachet forms. The powders tend to be the best quality one, and our favourite one here for the joints is the Nature's Plus collagen peptides, because there's a combination of different collagens in there, and there's actually also some eggshell membrane, which is particularly good for bad joints.
Okay, well done. Hi, Anneliese. My daughter has very low iron ferritin. She's taking Calfer, but could you give me some advice on anything else she could be taking? That's from Ellen.
So we would hear this an awful lot. Calfer really is a very, very difficult form of iron to be able to absorb. A lot of people, when they take it, they'll notice that they either get constipated or their stools could be quite blacky. And that's really a sign that the iron is not being absorbed. So the best type of iron really in terms of absorption is iron bisglycinate. So we talked about magnesium bisglycinate earlier. So that's magnesium mixed with the glycine. But the iron bisglycinate is a lovely, gentle iron that's very, very easy to absorb. And you can buy it in capsule form in any health shop. It's very easy to take. And we've had little to no feedback in terms of upset tummies, and it seems to bring the iron up quicker. There's also another type of iron that we have here for people who would be, have really compromised absorption. So people who are like in a bad celiac flare or a bad flare of Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, and it's called lactoferrin, Lactoferrin, and it's a form of iron that is super, super easy to absorb. It's almost like the iron that babies would get in breast milk. And the lacto part of it as well is very nourishing for gut health, so it's very good if there's an absorption issue.
Okay, Eileen has this ongoing problem with the children picking up head lice. She thinks they're getting it in the playground when playing with other children. They're reoccurring all the time. They've used several different types of treatments from the chemist. What would you suggest for reoccurring head lice? You're scratching already, even thinking about it.
I know, it's desperate, and it is. I nearly am as well, Patricia. Yeah. It's kind of like a natural reaction. So unfortunately, I think head lice are becoming immune to the chemicals that are used in a lot of those shampoos. So there is a very good shampoo by a company called Pure Essentials. We have it here, and it's basically more or less neem. Neem is a tree that is known as the medicine cupboard of India, because it has so many different functions. But it's a really good one for actually treating lice. But also it can be used as a shampoo. It's very gentle and no chemicals in it as a preventative. So it's the Pure Essentials neem shampoo, and it is. I think it might even be called something about lice. It's just Pure Essential lice shampoo. And then you can also buy sprays. The tea tree is actually very discouraging for head lice. They don't like the smell of it. So you can actually buy a tea tree spray, or you can just use ordinary tea tree oil. And the best place to dab it is just at the nape of the neck there, just behind the neck, because that's generally where they tend to land. So that'll discourage them from, jumping from somebody else's head onto your own kid's head, and do that every day going into school.
Okay, let me go. Where am I going with the questions? Sorry, I've gone to the wrong screen. There's so many questions coming in. Kate in Passage West has high blood pressure and high cholesterol. What should she be avoiding eating?
Okay, so the best, I suppose, there's two diets here really that she'll find very easily on the internet. The first one is the DASH diet, which is a very low salt diet for high blood pressure. And the second one then is the Mediterranean diet. Now, my favourite is the Mediterranean diet because it's naturally low in salt. It is so full of whole foods, and these would be naturally not just low in salt, but they have the right balance of the salts that we need, which is sodium, potassium, chloride, and magnesium. So vegetables and whole grains are naturally balanced in that. So if she was to follow the Mediterranean diet, I think that would be the best thing. I did actually a podcast recently, Patricia, that I had to do research for, and actually was horrified when I read that 50% of our calories in the Western world, in Ireland and the UK, come from ultra-processed foods. That's 50% for adults, and when it comes to kids, it could be 75 to 100%. So those processed foods, they're so high in fats and sugars and salts and other chemicals that I don't even want to talk about, and they're so disgusting, but they are hugely contributory to high cholesterol and high blood pressure. So the Mediterranean diet will naturally cut out those. So I think follow that, cut out processed foods and cut out anything white, really.
Okay, this is from more, says, afternoon, Anneliese. I'm on Orencia by injection. Now, I Googled it to see what it is. It's a medication used to treat autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis by interfering with the immune activity of T cells. Anyway, Maura is on this drug by injection for autoimmune disease. She's no energy. Is there anything she could take that won't affect the injection, but to try and give her a bit of an energy boost?
Yeah, I definitely could recommend the Source of Life Gold for that. When you're on those T cells, the T cells are the cells that tend to attack the body in autoimmune conditions where the body is actually attacking itself. So medications called T cell suppressors stop the activity of those. The main issue with that is that your T cells are also your first line of defense against viruses and bacteria. So you could be more immune compromised. So for anybody who is on them, I would definitely recommend taking a good supplement of vitamin D just to keep your immune system up. And the only thing really that you have to be very careful of when you're on those medications are things that will increase T cell activity. So echinacea would be a no-no, for example. But really, nearly everything else is safe. So I would certainly take something like the Source of Life Gold for a boost. It's 100% my favourite in terms of a tonic because you get a great energy kick from it. But there are lots of things that you can take naturally for autoimmune disease. So the fish oils are very good to help immunomodulate, and they are also natural anti-inflammatories. And then depending on the condition, whether it's gut-related or whether it's joint-related, there are natural anti-inflammatories that would work for that. So I would definitely suggest looking into that a little bit more because sometimes the medication is just going to make you feel that tired. So anything that you can take that supports your health and gets you into remission will mean that you can reduce medication as you go along and have less side effects.
Any suggestion on how to treat white patches in fingernails?
Yeah, so it can be two things now. It can be the first thing in terms of nutrition is that it could be indicative of a zinc deficiency. So I would definitely think about taking a zinc supplement. And I take it along at the moment with maybe a vitamin C too because it is great for the immune system. Zinc does loads of things. It's great for our skin as well. Really important for our digestive system. Great for our immune system. And if you have a poor sense of smell and taste after COVID, taking a zinc supplement can be something you can do to restore that as well. So I would try that. Sometimes it could be a calcium deficiency, so if you think that could be an issue, be careful because that could affect your bones as well in terms of osteoporosis. And then sometimes, Patricia, it's just literally that you've banged your nail and you've damaged it. So if your nails are of poor quality, the best supplement to improve the quality of hair and nails, I think, is biotin. It strengthens them right up. So you want to take it in a fairly high dose of about 5,000 micrograms. So there's a good few, like Maconda is a lovely company. They do a high dose one. We have it in gummies here as well for Nature's Plus for people who can't take tablets. So you'll get that in any health shop. Okay,
and very finally, what would you recommend to treat low glucose levels?
So, low glucose levels tend to generally happen when you haven't been eating very well. So the best thing to do is actually to take a glucose drink there and then to bring it up. Now, if your levels of glucose are low, regardless of what you're eating, that definitely is a medical issue. So I think that would need medical attention very quickly. But foods that would be good for kind of glucose, providing glucose would be glucose sweet, anything sugary really. But if you wanted to take it in a healthier form, I would suggest that this person snacks fairly regularly. Try not to go longer than 2 hours without eating something. Fruit and a handful of nuts can provide a much more substantial and long-lasting snack to keep your glucose levels up. Swapping brown bread for white bread will give you more sustained glucose release over time, but won't give you that glucose hit in the moment. So I think if you could base your diet on the whole grains and make sure you include a little bit of protein and fat at every meal, you'll get more sustained glucose release. And then have in your handbag maybe a banana, a glucose drink like Glucosade or something like that, or some glucosey sweets, just in case you start feeling it dropping, where you'd be, headachy, losing concentration, or getting a bit shaky.
Yeah, you get that dip, which is absolutely horrible. Okay, pleasure as always. Thank you for that, Anneliese.
Thanks, Patricia.
Have a wonderful week. Anneliese, of course, won't be with us next week because we've got our first bank holiday of the new year next Monday with St. Bridget's Day. But Anneliese will put up all of the information that we discussed today on her website, which is healthhubstore.com. You go onto the website, and as heard on the radio, you can find out more about all of the products and all of the suggestions that Anneliese gave.